Alberto, tell people a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, no, listen, I mean, we've known each other for like 11 months now, working together, and uh, I mean, you have definitely changed my life. And I mean, I'm just a very simple guy. I'm in construction. It's what I do for a living. Entrepreneur. I have my businesses. Very simple, typical guy, really.
And let's take it back to our very first call, man. 11 months ago. What was your starting weight? Where were you there in your life? Like what had happened on that first call? What was it that was like, hey, I need to speak to Dr. Mike?
So starting weight was 326 pounds. That was the very beginning, the starting weight. Uh, just switching from the 200s to the three, that had a huge impact on my head. Like psychologically, is I'm going from 200 to three. That felt horrible. I mean, me stepping in the scale and seeing 305, 310, 315, and it just kept going up. And I tried many things. I tried different coaches, and it just wouldn't click. Or I would go down just a little bit, but I gained it right back again. There was the lack of habits and routines and consistency. It just didn't work. Man, going to bed, taking a shower,
Mm.
tying my shoes. Like very, very basic stuff that everybody does. It was challenging and it was embarrassing. And I spent a lot of time alone, not only on a personal development journey, which was good, but also because I was embarrassed a lot of times. Just the way I felt, moving, even just going up a flight of stairs and then trying to catch my breath at the end of it. It was really hard. So when I came across your videos, your content, and I said, no, I'm gonna try this, and I mean, 11 months later, it's been life changing. It really has, and I'm not just saying that. I mean it, because not only nutrition and fitness and all that, but like just the way you think and the way you approach things now, totally different.
But before we dive in, a lot of research and editing goes into making a video like this. Just do me one favor, if you wouldn't mind. Gently hit the like button. It'd be greatly appreciated. And if you enjoy this kind of content, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you're new. Let's kick it off.
But to take it back, I want to know what was it that got you to 326? What were you doing that was leading to that gradual and consistent increase in your weight? If you could describe the foods or like the habits you feel like, hey, this was it that was kind of getting my weight scale to run up.
I think it was just not being conscious of what I was doing and developing the wrong habits. Like right now, I have very good, solid habits. Back then, I had the complete opposite. I had very solid, strong, bad habits. I would probably eat once or twice a day, but I would eat like royalty. And when I say royalty, I'm not kidding. I would eat like even these Chinese combos that you eat. I don't care admitting this now, but I would eat like two of those, even three in one sitting. Like it was ridiculously too much food.
Mm.
And it was not caring. And then I would just do it because of the stress levels too, like not having habits around stress, around sleeping, even hydrating, uh, just a totally different lifestyle than I have now, and just not caring about it. I thought because I didn't have any diseases or anything like that, I was healthy. It was like I can do this, I can afford to do this, and I was totally wrong, totally wrong.
You mentioned something that's super interesting is you were having two meals a day, but the quantity, the density of those foods. So you mentioned you had like Chinese combos. What else was in those, like, let's say two meals on variation?
But I would, so the two combos, or I could easily have a whole pie of pizza with like chicken wings and a 2 liter, all that in one sitting by myself. If I'm sharing with somebody else, like you get your own stuff. I'm eating all of it. Like back then, it would be so embarrassing to do it, but I felt like I needed it.
Mm.
And I was totally wrong. And it's just the quality and the quantity. I mean, the quantity was huge, and the quality was super poor,
Mm.
of my nutrition overall. So that's really what got me to 326.
I build out their entire plan start to finish with the food they love and enjoy so that they can do it for the rest of their life. The same goes with training. It's designed according to their physiques, especially taking into account being able to see the six-pack fully and for them to get their desired result in what they want. We jump on a weekly Zoom call. We speak 24/7 over WhatsApp. This way, I make sure that anyone who works with me sees the best results possible. People I usually work with are busy professionals. They don't have the time to watch all these videos, and I do the heavy lifting for them. If that's you, if you need anyone, a coach who's a doctor, who understands the body fundamentally, if you want to work personally with me, all you need to do is go into the description of this video, fill out the application form to the best of your ability, and I'll get on the phone with you and we'll speak about your goals. We'll get to working together.
I wanted you to get an opportunity to kind of describe to people what the results you got working with Sculpt by Science from start to finish. So what changes did you see physically, number one, and then what changes did you see mentally from 326 to 201?
I mean, physically, obviously the size, right? Like I was massive in every direction, and all that slowly going away. You know, like from the chest area, underarms, the belly, the back, even the legs, and all that. Like everything just physically reducing. Even my cardio, you know, just feeling better. Again, the same flight of stairs that I would go up and barely catch my breath at the end. Now I could do up, down, and it's like nothing. So that physical endurance, the strength, you know, being able to do things that I couldn't do before, lift stuff that I struggled with in the past. So that physical aspect of things, you know, getting out of bed in the morning, really struggling at the 326 level. Now at 201, I get up like it's nothing. You know, so physically I feel very agile, and I mean, we're all getting older by the second, literally, right? So I feel like I was getting younger and healthier and stronger and better and bigger and better. Um, Mentally, it's really truly understanding the meaning of habits, because we all repeat this. Well, it's all about building habits and being consistent, but that's just literature. It's just repetition. I go to bed at the same time every night. Get up in the morning, same time every morning. I hit the gym same days. I hit my steps, the same amount of steps, and incrementing every single time. So it's just repetition and staying consistent. And because I'm seeing the changes, not only mentally, but physically, that only motivates me even more every single time. You know, so it becomes easier to a point. It's really about changing your whole life around and for the better.
What do you feel losing that 125 pounds did for you personally?
Not only I get to share my story now with other people, because I mean, hopefully I'll get to change lives, even if it's just sharing this story with you, or if at one point I decide to, you know, coaching people or helping people directly like that. But I mean, it's a story I get to tell. And it's me. It's one of those things. I was looking at one of your videos where you say I get to say I own a Lambo, or I get to say I own a house. You know, I get to say I lost 125 pounds, and not everybody gets to say that. And that's huge. So I think that's my token. That's my trophy. I don't need the recognition. It feels good, right? Like I see people all the time, even family, friends, or people I haven't seen in a long time. It's like, man, you're looking good. And I get DMs and texts and calls from a whole bunch of different people I haven't talked to in a while. It's like, you're looking good. That feels good. But my token is I get to say that other people can't. And I get to share that story and have an impact on other people's lives.
What were the three things that impacted Alberto the most from going from the 326 to 201?
It was habits. So building healthy habits, and not just on fitness and nutrition, but like sleeping habits, meditation habits, you know, hydration, water habits, you know, like habits, but very specific habit building techniques. You know, even using very basic tools in your phone and reminders and stuff, and checklist. Like every single day, I got a checklist. I gotta drink X amount of water. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. So I don't go to bed until I checked every single box. So building those habits. Other impact is me wanting to learn more about it. You know, and I bother you every now and then. It's like I want to know more about this. I want to know more about that. So it's seeking the knowledge of fitness and nutrition and really understanding the science behind it, which is what's so beautiful about what you do. You know, it's like really in understanding the science behind it, and just that mindset alone is huge. I think three is just opening up too. Like in the past, I would be embarrassed, and I would keep it very personal. And my life was very, very personal. Now I get to open up and share that and be vulnerable and expose myself. Even something as simple as taking a shirtless photo and posting it online. Some people don't even think about it, but it's like that's that's different.
With that change, I'm sure nutrition played a massive role. Do you remember what macros or the diet that you were following when you started and when we started the 326 journey? Do you remember that?
The food itself never really changed. The quantities obviously had to change to fit the macros, but the food itself was just about the same. I would have an oatmeal in the morning. I would have my chicken and ground beef as a second meal. Third meal would be a chicken pasta, and last meal would be a yogurt with protein. I know the calorie count was I think 2,700 when we very first started.
What did your cardio look like from that beginning point till, let's say, what your peak was, right?
So I didn't start doing uh, intentional cardio, so to speak, until maybe 7 months into it. Right, like my only form of cardio would be just the steps. When we very first started, 8,000 steps. I still remember verbatim. Our call was, "Listen, no negotiating, 8,000 steps every single day," and I have for the last 11 months. So it started at eight, little by little, we did 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Today I'm at 15. But that was my only form of cardio until maybe 7 or 8 months in that we decided to make a change and add in intentional cardio. So I was doing Stepmaster 20 minutes, I think 3 times a week. And then we changed that a little bit as we got closer to competition to like 30-minute sessions a week, and that was really the only cardio that I did. So you see a whole bunch of people doing a whole bunch of cardio to lose weight. I didn't do cardio until 7, 8 months in.
That's awesome. And another common question people like to ask is like, in that time, did you have any cheat meals?
I didn't. Uh, I mean, very rare, like if you go out with family or friends, a meal here and there, I would very strategically try to fit it into my macros. So maybe I would drop 1 or 2 meals and try to take a bigger one. So that would be sort of a twist or a change.
As a coach, it's probably the most important part of the entire program is designing the program in such a way that should make you feel that it is not necessary. So where I do the hardest amount or the most amount of work with any client is right in the very beginning, because it will set the tone for the rest, right? So you can correct me if I'm wrong. Do you feel it was potentially the design of the diet that was built for you that kind of took that necessity away?
100%. Because again, there was simply no need. I was satisfied with what I was eating. In fact, one of the first questions that you ever asked me around nutrition was, "What do you actually like to eat? Like, what do you like?" And a lot of what I said was pasta and chicken and meat. And I mean, it turns out that's exactly what I've been eating for the last 11 months. So it's like, okay, he just built something that's like perfect for me, uh, fits my macros. I don't feel like I'm sacrificing anything. It's not hard to do because I'm eating what I actually like eating. I even tried, I mean, I'm not a burger guy, but I tried the burger. It's like, I'm eating burgers as a diet? Like, how can you do that? I was drinking Coke as part of my diet, Coke Zero, just to throw it out there. But like, that was part of my diet. So 100% it was how the diet was designed and the nutrition was designed that pretty much eliminated the need. I don't think I ever asked you, hey, where's cheat? I don't care for cheat. I like this food. I like what I eat.
I was concerned, man, as a coach at the beginning, as I was getting to know you. I was just like, every day, every week, as I did my check-in with you, the weight's coming down. And I'm like, surely he's having cheat meals and not telling me. So I'd be like, yeah, Alberto, have you had a cheat meal yet? No, nothing. And literally it was probably a few months until I had to literally force you to have them. I was like, hey, you need to go have them. I think you were 50 pounds down. So for context, the minimum time I work with anybody is 16 weeks, because of exactly what Alberto's harped on, is that What I want is a theme. I want habits integrated because that is what is going to get you to get your results and take that along forever. So in the first 16 weeks, Alberto lost 54 pounds. And in the second 16 weeks, so that 8-month mark, you lost another 52 pounds, right? So we had lost, you had lost 100 pounds in eight months or less ish. And I call it refeeds because a cheat meal insinuates that you get to eat anything within this window. A refeed is a strategic planned increase in caloric intake, and within those numbers you can have what fits, what works. Yep. Did you feel that you were building muscle throughout that entire 11-month process?
I think I built a little bit of muscle. Like, obviously I was exposing the muscle by reducing and removing the fat around the muscle. What I do know for a fact is I can just tell is I never lost or reduced my muscle size. Like, that never went down. At a very minimum, I've maintained and even grew a little bit of the muscle.
Would you say, and you notice this because in the app you get to track your weights and track your entire workout. Did you see incremental increases in your lifts?
Oh yeah, totally. On just about every exercise, especially the big ones. You know, like if I'm doing squats, like last time I squatted was like 300 pounds. When I first started, it was around 200. You know, so within 10, 11 months, that's another 100 pounds just in squats.
That's insane. Yeah, incredible, man. And I think super important, Alverso, in your trajectory, we're having a conversation. You remind me, was I like, hey, you should do a show? Or was it your idea? How did you end up getting third place at Summer Shredding? What decision was it that drove us to getting you on stage? How did that happen, if you can recall?
And it's funny because I recall it exactly what happened, and I would love telling this story. And that the way I asked you is like, listen, I know I got a lot of work to do, and I'm far from it. But if I was ever interested on getting into bodybuilding, is that something you could possibly, like, there was so much uncertainty in my question. Could you possibly coach me through it? And I remember it exactly, all caps. You said yes, and I got the perfect show for you, and here it is. And that was Summer Shredding. You said transformation division. If you want to do it, I'm all for it. Let's do it.
But yeah, man, I was super ready for you, and you got third place, man. Let me ask you that, Alberto. What was that experience like, going stepping on stage?
So me stepping on stage, Summer Shredding, it was one of the best experiences of my life. It really was. And even that day was one of the best days of my life. So as we're getting ready for it, right, like, we have a date. Now we got X number of weeks that we got to do this. Physically, it wasn't that much of a challenge initially because I was working out, just doing my routines, doing my diets. Nothing really truly changed. But mentally, it's like, now we have a different goal. And now we're about to step on stage in front of who knows how many people. It turns out it was live, so probably hundreds and thousands and millions of people saw it. So it's like that mental challenge and stress that came into it. So I think I reached out a couple of times to you. It's like, hey, I need a mental, check-in. Like, I'm nervous. I don't know what, like, I really want to do this, but I'm feeling the stress. Like, I'm feeling it now. You sent me all the prep and all the details for that day, like by the hour. You're gonna do this, you're gonna do that, you're gonna do this. So it's like, now it's very specific. It helped me in the sense of, now I got something specific to think about instead of just waiting for me to step on stage. But it was also very specific and totally new for me. So what I really truly liked about it is the environment and the people. I still remember it was, and this is a great amount of detail, but I think we had like 5 steps. So 5 steps. I get on stage, boom, lights and people, and I'm just walking, and I felt so freaking comfortable for some reason. I can't explain it, but I'm walking on stage and I feel like I'm home. It's like, I've done this.
Yeah.
And you want to stay humble in this whole process, but at that point, those 30 seconds that I had up there, it's like, heck yeah.
There we go.
Get up there. I did my pose, crack a smile at the end. I walk out. It was the shortest 30 seconds of my life, but it was the best 30 seconds of my life. It went by so quickly. As I stepped down, all I'm thinking is, that's it. You did it. So everything you've been working on for the last couple months, you did it. And I felt awesome. And, we made the finals and all of that. So it was great. It was a great experience.
I wanted to ask you, Alberto, because I think for a lot of people, right, especially when they want to work with me or with a coach or any coach, that decision, that first step you ever took, and think back to our very first call when I was trying to convince you to do it, to hey, come and work with me. What advice do you give anybody who is looking to work with me or with any coach in terms of the thought process that they should take in making that first step?
You just got to jump. You just got to do it. Uh, what's going to happen? I mean, for anybody who's struggling or trying to make that decision, right, is really think about, what if you don't? So if you don't make the decision, what's going to happen? What's going to change? How much closer is that going to get you to your goal and whatever you're trying to accomplish, physically, mentally? It doesn't matter what it is. You gotta go in there and try it. And not only I develop a great amount of trust in you, but also in myself. Like, obviously you can only do so much, and any coach can only do so much. You gotta put in the work. You gotta go out there and do it. You gotta go weight your food. You gotta get up at whatever time you get up and go and train. You gotta do the work. You are not gonna do it. No coach in the world is gonna do it for you. You have to do it. But if you have tried all these different things by yourself, and it hasn't worked, the question is not, am I going to do this? Is, when are you going to do it? All right. It's like, just get started and do it, because you need a coach, whoever it is it Mike or is it anybody. You need that coach to hold yourself accountable and to hold your hand through the process and work with, right? Just like we had a conversation earlier about perspective. It's like, there was something that I'm struggling with, and you saw it. I didn't see it, and it was super freaking obvious, but I couldn't see it. I was too close. So you coming from the outside and just in like 2 minutes, you told me exactly what it was. Like, that's exactly it. That's exactly what a coach is meant to do, is see it from the outside, is push you, help you, hold you accountable, and guide you through the whole process. And I couldn't be more grateful, and I appreciate you, man, because that's exactly what you've done for me.
Yeah, man, I appreciate you, Alberto. You've been incredible. I think for a coach, the biggest pleasure is having someone execute. That is any coach's biggest question, is like, will this person execute? Because we feel like, hey, we have the answers. We know how to help you. Alberto, you've been incredible, man. For anybody out there who wants to find you, wants to see more of your story, where can they find you?
So I share a lot of my content and my stuff, and Instagram is LUIS_A, Louis A. That's where I share, my daily routines. I'm not a coach in any way, shape, or form, but I share what I do. I share a little bit of tips and tricks here and there. I share some of my stories, kind of what I'm up to. So I'm just another normal human being.
Alberto, I am excited for what October has in store for us in terms of stepping on stage.
Oh, yeah.
I say this, I honestly and truly believe it to the bottom of my heart. You're only in chapter 1, my friend, of your story, and I will do my utmost best. But thank you for sharing this with my audience.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it.